go.
Okay, this is Tom Caulfield's World Tour of Newmains. Okay, this is episode 1, and this is us here at Bonkle House, which is this big old house just up here. Now, back 49 years ago, that house, this is a guest house now, but that house wasn't a guest house. That house was quite a wealthy sort of property owner, or laird or lord or colonel or somebody who owned this house and this whole area around here. There's the river's down here, what we call the burn. I used to come fishing down here. But the story goes about here was that one day me and my pal Joe Macy and my little brother Charles, he would have only been about 4 in his duffel coat, we were coming back from fishing at Woody Point, which is about 1 kilometre up there. It's a big loch, and we used to fish in there all the time. It's very beautiful, but these days you can't get in. It's been bought by somebody private, and they fenced it all off and you can't get in. But anyway, we were coming back, and as we came back, we got to about this point on the bridge, walking back to where we live up there in Newmains, and I do believe it was this tree. It looks old enough, it's dying, and I do think it might have been this tree. We looked up in this tree and we could see a bird's nest, and it must have been sort of springtime of the year, and as kids we used to collect birds' eggs. So what we done was we gave the fishing rods and tackle to Charles, who was about 4, and we left him standing here, and we just went up here and jumped the fence. That's been dug out now, but it was a gradual slope down there, so we jumped the wall back here, and we went up the tree. Joe was supposedly standing guard at the bottom of the tree, and I climbed the tree to get into the bird's nest. So I was up there, and it took me about 5 minutes to scramble up the tree to have a good look, and I had a look, and I can't remember, I don't think there was any eggs in there or anything, and I didn't take any eggs or anything, and we came down the tree. But as I came down the tree, just as I jumped off the last branch, I felt a hand on my shoulder and turned around, and there was the laird of Bonkle House, and he had Joe round the scruff of his neck, and he grabbed me, and he was really angry, and he said that there'd been people coming in and damaging stuff on his property, and he wasn't having it, and he was taking us up to the house, and he was going to ring the police and take us away. Now this is probably only about, I don't know, 6 months before we were supposed to be going to Australia. So I was really worried. As a 13 or a 12-year-old, I was really worried that if I got some kind of criminal record, we wouldn't get to Australia. Anyway, as he was leading us up to the house, and these rails weren't there. During the war, they cut all these metal rails down, and at the time there was no rails. So as he was leading us up to the house on the other side of the wall, we got up to about here, where the wall goes lower. It's now a driveway, but it wasn't a driveway back then. It was just the low wall ran straight up the road. I eyed that off, and I thought to myself, this old guy won't be able to run as fast as me. So just as I got to the wall, I pulled away from him, and I jumped the wall and took off down the road. And he took off after me, and I flew, but he flew after me. And he ran past me, and he cornered me, and I went this way, he went that way, I went that way, he went this way, and he caught me up against the wall. And then he dragged me back again. So I tried to escape, and he said, "Son, you'll never outrun me." He says, "I ran for Britain in the Commonwealth Games, in the sprints." And I thought, oh, that's great. That's the only guy, I've got a race with a guy who's ran in the Commonwealth Games. Anyway, he took us up here, and just follow me, I'll just take you up, and you can see the house. But he took me and Joe up to the house, and you see the house is being renovated, and it's been under a lot of repair, but Once upon a time it was a grand old house. And through that wooden fence that wasn't there once, he took us into the back room out there. And he left us and he locked us in with his daughter, who must have been, I don't know, she was a late teen, and she was watching us while he went off supposedly to phone the police. Anyway, that really panicked us. We were there for ages, held prisoner, and that really panicked me and Joe, and especially me, who I thought, oh no, I've blown it. I'm gonna be in court. I'm gonna have a record. They'll reject our application to come to Australia. I've ruined it for the whole family. So I started crying. I started bawling my eyes out. And in the end, the old lad came down and was looking at us. And in the end, we promised we were going to be good boys. And he got us and he let us go with a kick up the arse. Let us go out the door. And we came back out. And I'd been inside this house probably for about an hour. And when we came back, and I thought, wonder where Charles is. And there he was, exactly in the same spot, standing at the bridge with our bags and fishing gear, patiently waiting. And that's the story.